y'all, welcome back. Today we're going to look at the upcoming new moon in Sagittarius happening on November 30th at about 10:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So wherever you are, you just want to make whatever adjustments for your time zone. This new moon coincides with Mercury in retrograde at 20 degrees of Sagittarius, which is in the same sign as the new moon, and Jupiter also retrograde in Gemini at 17 degrees. So that opposition, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, that makes that opposition that much more important. It will stand out that much more. The interaction between these two planets indicates that there'll be some complexity regarding positivity and communication and how we are communicating what we feel excited about. The other thing that's important about this opposition is that Mercury and Jupiter are in what's called mutual reception, which means they are in opposition to each other or some other kind of aspect. In this case, it's an opposition, but they are sitting in the sign that the other one rules, if that makes sense. So like Mercury rules Gemini, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. They're in opposition to each other. All of these similarities, again, just raise the importance of that transit right now. And the new moon is saying it's this, but it's also a new beginning. So wherever Sagittarius lies in your chart is going to describe where in your life this is going to happen. And again, all that's really happening is we might be really excited about something and we might communicate it poorly, or we may communicate without thinking first, and then there'll be details that change what we're talking about. Basically, the tone here is opportunity and pitfalls. So it's opportunity, but take a step back again. Overall, this period holds a blend of potential, but also caution, urging us to embrace the positive while remaining aware of the complications that a Mercury retrograde may introduce. So we all know about the Mercury retrograde. It's the one transit that just about everybody knows about. And it really just means hold up. Think about it first. Don't act first and think later. Those are usually pretty good things to live by. Sometimes it's, take a risk and jump. When Mercury's retrograde, it's like, are you sure? This opposition is counseling us to embrace the positive. No matter the details, we can still feel excited, look towards the future, feel like positive about what's coming, but we can still stay in a place of cautious optimism rather than foolish optimism. Embrace the positivity, feel good about it, but review everything. Make sure before we actually take action and move forward that we have all our facts straight, that we're clear about the direction that we're going in. We don't want to just, I'm feeling good and jump. We want to make sure that we know where we're jumping to, where we're starting from, where we're going after we jump. So the details in this instance are important. Sometimes that's not the case. And what the universe is urging is have faith, jump. It'll be okay. I got you. But this is not one of those times. This is one of those times when the universe is counseling, make sure you have your facts straight. So this particular tension brings us enthusiastic communication, but also a risk that we might exaggerate and kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. So there may be some really good news and we want to immediately share it with someone else without thinking. And what this combination is saying is stop. Are you sure? Maybe we're sharing something with someone that even though it's good news to us, it might somehow be hurtful to them. Like maybe we got this great new job and we're super excited about it. We tell our best friend who just got fired today. So just stop and listen and kind of evaluate your situation first and then share your good news. In addition to the Mercury-Jupiter opposition, there's also a trine between Jupiter and Lilith at exactly 17 degrees. So this aspect points to the emergence of issues having to do with feminism and the treatment of women in general in our society. This could highlight themes of manipulation as well as social justice. Lilith represents women. She represents the basically the dark side of the feminine is what she's said to represent. Basically, what that means is it's the part of the feminine that society would prefer is hidden. Doesn't mean that it's actually dark or bad. It just means repressed in most cases. Lilith represents the LGBTQ community, so we can expect discussions around gender and sexual orientation. These conversations are likely to be scrutinized very, very closely. This is a time for open listening. Information may come in abruptly, and it's important for us to sift through all of the information before we respond so that we can avoid misunderstandings. Venus is included in these planetary alignments that are happening on the day of the new moon. Venus will be trine Uranus at 23 degrees of Capricorn, and Uranus will be at 24 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is also retrograde in Taurus right now. The reason that the numbers are significant is because a 1 degree difference between the two indicates a tighter connection. The tighter the connection, the closer it is to exact, the more intense and more likely that we'll feel it. So basically what these two are representing is unpredictability and unexpected surprises, particularly related to themes around women, around finances, around security, and around boundaries. So as the new moon happens, we're reminded to remain flexible and open-minded while we engage with others. And I'm generally not someone who would say, be flexible with your boundaries. This isn't saying the boundaries, the healthy boundaries that we have are wrong or we should question them. What it's saying is maybe there are places where it's not so much about boundaries as it is about walls. And those are the ones that we want to question. And those are likely to be the areas that would be shook up at this time. So as November ends, this new moon is calling on us to be more considerate, to process and review before we act. And it's a reminder that this is not a time to be impulsive, but rather to reflect thoughtfully. So now we're going to apply those transits to each specific rising sign. So the rising signs are timestamped in the description below. So you can click on the rising sign that applies to you and just listen to that, or you can listen to the others if they apply to other people in your life. If you have Sagittarius Rising, this new moon will be in your first house. This pertains to your physical body, your mind, your character, how you're presenting yourself in your environment. You may feel that your physical vitality is heightened at this time, or you could feel like a crash and burn kind of effect. So that opposition between Jupiter and Mercury and this new moon is going through your first and your seventh house. You want to be particularly cautious about how you're expressing yourself in partnerships, because if there is any contention, this is where it will show up for you. Most importantly, you want to be mindful of your health and well-being at this time. It's a good time to start like a new schedule for rest or a new exercise schedule, or bringing some kind of mindfulness into your daily life that helps you to feel better and to feel healthier. For Scorpio Rising, the new moon will be in your second house of personal finances, possessions, and self-worth. This is a really good time to focus on your financial stability and to evaluate your personal resources. So with that excited, but then be cautious energy, for Scorpio Rising, that looks like there may be good news about a job, but we don't want to count our chickens before they hatch. That's a saying, right? Basically, we don't want to spend as though we already have the money. We want to wait until the money gets there, if that makes sense. Just want to make sure that if there are any contracts involved, that you definitely look over all of the details, especially anything having to do with the details of money. So if it's a large purchase, you want to look at things like interest rates. If you're signing up for a new credit card, same thing. As a Scorpio Rising, we can be pretty blunt. I'm also a Scorpio Rising, so you shouldn't have any problem if you go to sign something saying just straight up what's the catch, or look for the catch. If you have Libra Rising, this new moon will be in your third house. and will revolve around communication, siblings, and foundational learning. You may feel motivated to enhance your networking at this time. Social interactions with others are likely right now. Prepare for really exciting and engaging conversations. But again, just that reminder to be cautious of possibly miscommunicating or getting so excited that you get ahead of yourself and shoot yourself in the foot. There may be engaging conversations, but you want to remember about that caution of make sure that you are clear about what you're discussing and who you're discussing it with. There could be some misunderstandings down the road. If you have Virgo rising, the new moon will be in your 4th house of home and family and just roots in general. So you want to expect possible shifts having to do with your family dynamics. And there may also be a focus on your emotional foundations. This could prompt thoughts about real estate and personal security. So you may be thinking of purchasing real estate or making purchases that enhance financial stability or financial security for you. Again, the caution there is if it sounds too good to be true, it could be. Sometimes what's presented to us up front is a great idea, but after doing a little bit more research, it's like, oh, that was a good idea, but this would be even better. So it's possible that the first opportunity that's presented to you sounds great and probably is great, but if you were to do a little bit more digging, you could find something better. So just make sure that that's the thing that you want, whether it's a purchase, some type of savings plan, whatever shows up for you, just do that additional legwork so that you're 100% sure that this was the right decision. If you have Leo rising, the new moon will be in your 5th house. This house is about creativity and romance and self-expression and artistic pursuits. You might feel inspired towards something new artistically, and you may meet someone new as far as a romantic connection or a romantic interest. Again, you just want to be mindful of that Mercury retrograde opposition to this new moon and Jupiter, and just be cautious. Just move forward mindfully in all of these pursuits. So that might have to do with if what we're talking about is like an art class, you may want to research multiple classes to make sure that that starting time is good for you, that the cost is good for you, that the date that it starts and the time of day of the class, because there may be something else that's coming in to disrupt all of that. If this is a romantic interest, someone you just met, this particular alignment is saying go slowly. Doesn't mean that it's a bad person or you think it's a great person and then it turns out it's some huge mess. It could mean that in this particular romantic relationship, it's important to move forward slowly. Doesn't mean that there's anything bad. Just for whatever reason, that connection will benefit from that type of pace. If you have Cancer rising, the new moon is bringing attention to your 6th house, which is health, your daily routine, and your work environment. At this time, you want to be focused on health management and you want to consider adjustments to your daily habits. You want to focus during this time on health management, what you know so far about maintaining the best health for you. Also, be open to learning new things about health, because if you apply them to your daily routine where health and wellness is concerned, it's likely right now that you will really benefit from that. Be mindful that your daily routine is in some way impacting your health. So if your daily routine is missing something, or if there is something that you need to omit from your daily routine in order to be healthier, whether that's nutritionally or stress or a person that makes you feel unhealthy, a food allergy that you're ignoring, whatever the case may be, you just want to, at this time, you want to really pay attention to how you manage your own health. As far as your working environment, there may be something new coming along to help make that environment feel a little more positive to you. So watch for that. If you have Gemini rising, This new moon is in your 7th house, meaning that it will be primarily focused on your partnerships, whether that is romantic partnerships or very close business partnerships, any of your significant relationships. You might feel inclined at this time to form new relationships, and there may also be some shifts having to do with the existing relationships that you have in your life. If you have Taurus rising, this new moon is in your 8th house. 8th house relates to shared resources. Often it's our partner's resources, inheritance, grants, government funding, things along those lines, intimate connections, deep emotional feelings. This can also relate to other people's resources like grants or loans or debts. So for you, this can be a period of emotional growth, or this can be a period of financial growth. Your intimate connections may also come into focus during this time, or there may be some kind of mix between all of that. For example, surrounding the topic of shared resources, there may be more communication. And as a result of that, an intimate connection may grow closer. If you have Aries rising, the new moon will be in your 9th house of education, philosophy, beliefs. This can be political beliefs or spiritual beliefs. Can also be religion if that applies to you. The 9th house also can indicate travel. So if opportunities present themselves at this time for going off on an adventure or taking a trip, you want to be open to the experience. But again, there could be details having to do with this trip that haven't been laid out in the way that will allow you to take the trip in a relaxed manner or in the manner that you want to. You might be missing a rental car that you think is taken care of, whatever the case may be. Just if you're going on any kind of trips right now, make sure to double check itineraries and reservations, things like that. If this comes up more in the area of your beliefs and religion, then it's likely that this will be about sharing your ideas in these areas without causing harm to another, or about listening to someone else's ideas in a way that's open and doesn't create any kind of conflict for you. If you have Pisces rising, the new moon is influencing your 10th house, and this is about career and your public reputation. There may be opportunities coming up for public recognition. There may be advancement opportunities in your work. So you just want to be prepared to navigate any of the politics around any of those things. Also, where your reputation is concerned, just be cautious. This isn't about hiding who you are in presenting yourself. So present yourself in a way that's respectful to you and honest. Any conflicts too that come up with people in authority, you just want to respect your own space. That's the most important thing. If you have Aquarius rising, this new moon is in your 11th house. The 11th house is focused on friendships and social networking, as well as just any kind of group dynamic. You're likely to expand your social network at this time, but you want to just be mindful of challenges that may arise in groups that are connecting with each other, or groups that you are aligned with that may not be aligned with each other. Any kind of conflict having to do with the groups that you identify yourself with. There may be some conflict there. So just be mindful of that. Remember the suggestion at this time is stand back and observe. When in doubt, just observe. And then you'll know when to move forward and what to do. If you have Capricorn rising, this new moon is happening in your 12th house, and it's emphasizing introspection and healing. This is a good time for self-reflection and to understand your unconscious motivations. Remember, the 12th house can also be about sabotage from others as well as self-sabotage. So this connection is really underlining, check all the details, move forward cautiously. But again, it's still okay to be excited or to feel positive about anything that's come up. Thank you for checking in today and for watching this video. Have a great rest of November and take really good care of you.